So hi everyone, welcome. Today's video is called Relationships Matter, and that may be a statement of the obvious for many of you, but please bear with us because I think there's something here for everyone to learn from.
This is something from my own personal history. It was a really important thing on my own personal life journey, really. And the situation was I worked in a very large, complex global company which had come together in a consortium with 4 other big global companies. And the work that we were trying to do was going, frankly, very badly and had been doing for a long time. So almost 2 years, the problems were getting ever bigger. We were failing to deliver on time, failing to deliver what was wanted. We were having lots of difficulties with each other and also with our client, which is a very complicated client.
So bring us up to speed with the story. So you have arrived. There are 5 big organisations in this coalition, not going well, and you're sent on your white horse to come and do something. What did you do?
Well, I think it's less about what I did, to be honest, because I carried on being me in a sense. What was important was that there was a small group of consultants, internal consultants from one of the companies, who'd been there for a while. They called themselves change consultants, but they worked in the field of organisation development and leadership. And they were desperately trying to get people to understand one single thing. And that single thing was that all of these problems we had in the organisation were behavioural. They were about the different behaviours that we were bringing to the table. And fundamentally the fact that of the 5 global companies, they all had very different ways of doing things. And to give an example, the company I came from, if a client had a problem, our normal reaction as a system reaction was to go and solve the problem and then ask for the money. So our first thing to do would be go and help the client and then ask for the money. One of our other businesses that we're working with in this consortium, they had exactly the opposite. So if a client had a problem, their first question was to say, what's our contractual position here? Are we obliged to solve this problem or not? And then, if not, they would go in and say to the client, how much are you going to pay? You need to sort out the payment and then we'll sort out the problem. Now, it may sound to you as a listener that one of those 2 things is the right answer and that you should take one approach, not both of those approaches. They can't both happen. However, both those companies were highly successful global companies, so it had worked for them as a culture.
Yeah.
So although I came from one of those,
Yeah.
and it always seems sensible to say you help the customer first, the other culture would say that was our philosophy as well, but we can only help that client if we're helping ourselves. And so we will start with that question of the contractual position.
I'm going to stop you there, just because the thing that came to my mind before you said that was exactly the opposite, which was here is 2 gorgeous examples of corporate culture and corporate behaviour. Both make sense. So you can't actually say that there is a logic for choosing one above the other. You know, they're both equally right. And I think that's very often the case in leadership. Really knotty leadership issues often don't have a manifestly right answer. You know, it's always a weighing up. I know that's completely self-evident, but we don't see it until we're confronted with it, that both things can be true. Yeah,
absolutely. So as I go back, this small group of consultants were saying to the leadership team, this is your issue. And the problem is you keep bringing in troubleshooters, people like me, who are making it worse because I'm going in and doing what my culture says is the right answer and basically trying to just push that agenda, that way of doing things, with the mindset that's closed, that thinks, well, everybody else is just wrong. They haven't understood this problem. They clearly haven't understood. The more I go at them, the more they'll understand and they'll realise that my way of doing things is the right way of doing things. And of course, all the other companies were sending in people doing that same sort of approach. So essentially I was coming and making it worse, not better.
Yeah. So, what happened? I guess... what brought this all to a head? What changed? how did you become convinced that something needed to be done in a different manner?
Well, I think, to be honest, the answer is the idea of a light bulb moment. So when this message was being pushed by this group of consultants, and I was fortunate enough to be involved in a conversation with them, I don't remember that any specific little thing happened. I just got it. My brain went, oh my gosh, you're right. That's the issue.
Yeah.
And it's, when you point it out, it's so self-evident. These companies have completely different ways of approaching issues. And because we've got such a complex consortium arrangement with 5 different companies and a client which is also very complex, we're not able to notice them. We're just always trying to solve things our way. And actually we need to sit back and try and address those behaviours and the relationships between everybody, because of course it's the relationships between people that have to adjust to make those behaviours adjust.
The reflection questions are not ancillary to the main body of the video. We really encourage you to take a generous amount of time to really investigate how you think and to get it out on a piece of paper or onto your iPad so you can see the deep-held assumptions that you're making about how people tick, how you work with people when you make the assumption that that's the way they're thinking. As Phil has illustrated in his case study, if you're making these assumptions, then it limits the ways in which you work with other people. But when you begin to see the limitations and the assumptions that you're making, it broadens your repertoire as a leader, as a coach. It enables you to make wider choices, different choices. So this reflection is really important to help you generate more self-awareness and also more awareness of others, because no 2 people are the same. You can read more about some of these ideas in our book. It's called Coaching on the Go. And I hope that you'll join us for our next video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.